Everyone has a story to tell. It's my mission to tell it. Unscripted, unedited, we are on the record.
Hi everyone, I'm Serena Fazan, and thank you so much for joining us for this episode of On the Record, where we hear incredible stories from inspiring people and people trying to make a difference. Well, two such women are in the studio right now. I'd like to introduce Bernadette Boyle and Linda O'Brien. Thank you so much for being here today. We are talking about a tough topic though.
Yes, we are.
Ocular melanoma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So before we get started, we were talking before the commercial break, and you, Bernadette, reached out and wanted to be on the record.
Yes.
I want to thank you for that, to share your message.
Linda and I are always looking to get our message out, to especially bring in awareness to ocular melanoma. So knowing your show, I just went onto your website and just found your email address and sent the email out, and here we are. So it was just very exciting to us because you responded to us immediately. From there, Janae was in touch with us, and we've just, been moving forward with it since. So it was great for us. We were very excited about it.
Well, it means a lot to us for viewers to know Janae Jefferson is one of our producers, and I love sharing stories about my team, and we do Facebook Lives, and so thank you so much for saying that. And I was so moved. I come from a family of physicians. Okay. I talk about that on the record all the time. Both my brothers are doctors. My brother-in-law was a doctor, and medicine is, very much a part of my life. So tell us about ocular melanoma, though, and your personal journeys.
Okay. All right.
Linda, you want to
start?
start?
You want me to start?
Yeah, Linda, you start.
Well, because you haven't said anything yet.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right.
So, Linda, you please start.
Well, back on January 31st, 2008, I went in for an annual eye exam, which I've been very good at getting every year. And my doctor was actually a friend of mine, and he's looking at my eyes that are dilating. He goes, "Boy, you got a lot of junk in there." And I said, "What?" Like, I thought he meant like mascara,
right.
down here,
Right.
Yep.
And being he was a friend, he would never say this to another patient. And he goes, "No dummy in your eyeball."
Wow, but you know what? As women, that is the first thing I would think. I would think
know,
mascara or eyeliner or something.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And he was not, he was an optometrist. And he said, "We need to get you in to see an ophthalmologist." And I said, "Okay, just have the girls call me. They know where to find me." He goes, "No, we're going to make the appointment, and you're going to go right away."
Oh my gosh. Okay, that must have been so nerve-wracking and scary.
It was, but he was talking like it was a detached retina. But in my heart, I think he really knew what it was. So, and he said, "You need to have someone go with you." So that, that even told me more. So 3 hours later, I went to the new doctor and went through all kinds of tests and everything and was diagnosed with ocular melanoma.
So when you say you were diagnosed with ocular melanoma, what do they say? What is the prognosis?
Well, 50% of the cases metastasizes to your liver. There is no cure. I had treatment. It depends on the size of the tumor, if you lose the eye or if you can have treatment. And the treatment's actually a plaque that they make that fits on the back of your eye, and it has radioactive seeds in it. And that was in my eye for a week. And
that sounds so uncomfortable. I can't even imagine.
Oh, it was a horrible week. It was probably the worst week of my life. And then you go back into surgery and they remove it, and then you start the healing process. But that's not the end of it. Unfortunately, the radiation is so strong on your eye, and my tumor was inside the eyeball on the optic nerve.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm basically blind in my left eye now. And so that's all it's taken from me so far. But it takes...
and let's pray, it stops there.
Right. Depending on where you are in this journey, I'm at 14 and a half years, so I just recently went to annual scans. and I get scanned from head to toe.
Wow, so you're 14 and a half years in.
Yes.
So before we go into more what you're doing, so Bernadette, if you could share your story.
Yes. So my husband Joe was very athletic, and we live in the Fishhawk area, so he was playing softball at the time, and he was, you know, just kind of feeling like he couldn't, like he was having problems seeing the ball coming in as he was trying to hit. And one night, Linda and I met in 2012, but interesting enough, is the same year, 2008. One night we were out and he was driving and he just kind of went like this and he said to me, I can't see out of my left eye.
Oh my goodness.
So he said, oh, I bet you have a cataract. He said, get this treated and we'll be good to go. So we went to our optometrist as well, and she looked at it and she said, I see something. She says, but I'm not qualified to diagnose what it is. So from there, sure enough, like a day later, we were at another specialist. And we went in and she started examining Joe's eye and she said to him, I see a freckle. And he said, a freckle? She goes, well, a tumor. And he's like, a tumor? She said, yes. So those were the first time we heard this term, ocular melanoma. Never heard of it in our lives. So from there, we were just like, okay, now what? So then we moved on to another specialist who then had, Joe had the exact same treatment. He had the radiation plaque. Unfortunately, in Joe's case, he was in that 50% where the metastasis did occur. So 3.5 years later, in 2011, he was diagnosed with, they had found lesions in the liver. And fortunately, we were able to find a Dr. Sato. He's in Philadelphia at Thomas Jefferson. He is at the forefront of the disease, and that's where we went to. We did try Moffitt, but unfortunately at the time they didn't have anything for ocular melanoma. They're very, very prominent with cutaneous melanoma, skin melanoma, but not ocular at that time. So we ended up going out to Philadelphia, and we traveled once a month to Philadelphia. And Joe went through various trials for 4.5 years. That's because that's all there is, are trials. It's just, you know, trying to find that right thing, and it's not a cookie cutter cancer. So what works for one person doesn't work for the other person. It lives within the bloodstream. It can live dormant for years. So when we talk about that 5-year mark where some cancers have that, ocular melanoma doesn't have that at all.
How old was your Joe when he lost?
He actually, his birthday was January 14th, 2016. He turned 60 and he died 11 days later. So he had just turned 60.
I'm so sorry. You know, when I was talking about, you know, I said I come from a family of doctors, and I said my brother-in-law was a doctor. My sister doesn't really like, it's very painful for her to hear. It was not ocular melanoma, but he died, and he was diagnosed with lung cancer in January 2 years ago, and he died in June.
Wow.
So cancer research is so important.
Yes.
And you know, anything that we can do to support it, we need to do.
Right.
Exactly.
So with this, and we're going to talk so much more about exactly what you're doing, but what is this right here that you have?
This is something that we promote to everyone. We have melanoma. We have actually in the month of November, we do a big push for I Get Dilated.
Can I take that for just a
You
minute?
absolutely can.
I will show it like over here so they can take it there. Okay, on the camera 3. Okay, so this is I Get Dilated. Okay.
And really everyone, regardless, not waiting until I'm having vision problems, I can't read the newspaper anymore. People should be getting annual eye dilated exams every year because that's how it's found. It's found with just a regular dilated eye exam.
And you know, I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you the question, Linda, when you were sharing your story, and you said, I've been very good about going to my eye exams. I go every single year. Why do you do that? I mean, I know that sounds like such a simple question, but no, I think that's fantastic. Is it something you just grew up with? That you
It's what I grew up with, and I had no symptoms. So, you know, who knows how long I would have went.
That's what makes it so frightening.
Right. Some people won't lose their eyesight or have that vision. Joe already had a vision problem. So that's what prompted him to say he was getting eye dilated exams anyway. So we had sort of a timeline for him because it was like, well, we knew that a year ago he had actually it was a little less than a year that he had a dilated eye exam and nothing was found. So this, tumor then was visible.
So when you both started to try and get help, that's when you found in the state of Florida, you found out that there were very few doctors that dealt with this.
Right.
Yes.
Can you share more on that and have things changed?
At the time I was diagnosed, I had two choices for them to get me into Bascom Palmer Institute in Miami or USF Eye Institute in Tampa. And about 11 years into my journey, and I'd been going to the same doctor, he retired, and they didn't have another doctor to take his place.
No doctor to take his place.
No. And so I went into panic mode because I feel safe with him, and he's keeping me alive, and so I called Bernadette and I said, who was it Joe saw the first time? So when she told me, I called them, and it's Florida Retina Associates up in Tampa, and I called and got an appointment, and that's who I'm seeing now, and which I'm getting very good care and love them there too. But you cannot walk into just any door and say, hey, I've got ocular melanoma, I need you to treat me. And right now, Moffitt is getting on board with ocular melanoma, and I know they are treating patients with metastasis to the liver with the new drug that Immunocore just came out with.
So we need to talk about the drugs too and the FDA approval. But Bernadette, also turning to you, when your Joe was diagnosed, were you shocked and surprised that here we are living in this society where you're supposed to be able to walk in anywhere?
Absolutely. We didn't, first of all, I'd never heard of it, knew nothing about it, didn't understand it. And so we were fortunate enough for the specialist that we saw after the second visit to turn us over to the Retina Associates in Florida. So, and that's where we went. And then again, we're just like kind of wondering, are we doing the right thing? Are we treating it correctly? Back in Joe's day, and as far as in Linda too, they weren't, now they do genetic testing on the tumor, which gives them some information about maybe perhaps treatments, but that wasn't offered to Joe, it wasn't offered to Linda. So there's been, movement in those directions, but so again, take the eye out. Taking the eye out is only because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't get rid of the cancer because it's living within the bloodstream. So it's just the size of the tumor, depending on whether it's too big to treat with radiation, then there may be that removal of the eye. Or otherwise, then they do that protein beam. They do a proton beam, and they also do what we talked about with the radiation beads. But we didn't know. We didn't know. We just hoped that we were going to someone that was going to do what needed to be done.
Right.
We had no clue.
Well, the two of you certainly had very difficult journey to talk about, but you both are taking action in spreading the message. We're going to go to a break, and we're going to explore more of what you're doing to try to make a difference. So stay with us, everybody. We'll be right back.
Why is Precision Garage Door a name you can trust? Because of the Precision Promise.
Precision Garage Door, this is Sophia. How may I help you?
Your call is answered day or night by a live person ready to help.
That's our promise.
Our technicians will arrive on time in one of our recognizable, fully stocked vehicles.
That's our promise.
And there's never an extra charge for nights or weekends to repair your garage door. Quality service quickly from a name you can trust. That's the Precision Promise.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to On the Record. I am here with Linda O'Brien and Bernadette Boyle, and we're talking about something very serious, ocular melanoma, and the hashtag again. For those people who might be joining the show late,
Absolutely.
Can you share what this means?
Yeah, it just means that everyone should be going out for an annual dilated exam every year, regardless. Not because I'm having vision problems, but because they, just to make sure to check your eyes, because you can find out a lot of things from a dilated eye exam. And I also say to even young children, I know that we don't think of that. We take the children to the dentist when they're little, just to have their teeth, those baby teeth checked. but even children should be getting eye dilated exams, because unfortunately the population, our community, it has hit young people too.
Yes, it has.
So we have, we have young people in their 20s and some in their teens that have been diagnosed with ocular melanoma. So I think it's important that everybody gets an eye exam.
Absolutely. I know this is a very rare cancer, but the statistics of cancer are staggering. 1 in 3 people are diagnosed with some type of cancer.
Right.
So research is more important than ever for all types of cancer.
Exactly.
How did the two of you come together?
A friend of ours was doing, actually not, I shouldn't even say it, we have such a tight community. If you can understand that we now have Facebook groups, but before then it was other, smaller groups, like through emails and things, and so we just met people that we felt like we knew our whole lives, but we didn't. So there was a fundraiser happening in Cocoa Beach area, and Joe and I decided to go, and Linda, and then we kind of had known each other just through like messaging. And so we met each other for the very first time at a fundraiser for ocular melanoma.
And Linda, so you met Joe.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Well,
So
Yes.
you met Joe, and tell us what you were sharing during the commercial break, that your history.
Joe and I were both diagnosed in January of 2008. And of course, at that time, we did not know each other. And then, like Bernadette said, we met at this fundraiser, and between my husband and her and Joe, we all became very, very good friends. And Joe was a pistol.
A pistol. And we're remembering him today,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sure.
So what are you doing to try to help spread the message and find a cure? What are the events that are coming up?
October 1st, Park Square, Lithia, Florida. We're holding our 5th annual Your Next Step is the Cure 5K. And you want to
we
talk a little?
Melanoma Research Foundation, where all of our monies go to cure ocular melanoma, was hold what they call Miles for Melanoma events throughout the country. So we had one in Tampa for a period of time, and we would create our own team, and in fact, we were one of the first to actually make sure that our monies went to the ocular melanoma part of the MRF. And then we learned in 2017 that they were dropping our Tampa area due to lack of volunteers and whatever.
No.
Linda and I said, okay, that's not going to happen. We had a momentum going. We had been raising a lot of money. So the two of us, and it's still just the two of us.
It's still just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Yes.
Just the two of you?
Yes.
This is it.
This is us.
Well, hopefully after this show, it's certainly going to be more than just the two of you.
So we started in we had our first 5K in 2017.
Which we pulled off in 4 months.
In 4 months. And we were holding it at E.G. Simmons Park in Ruskin at the time. And we had like 49 people come out.
Mainly friends and relatives, but that's okay. We still got their money.
No, I'm proud of the two of you, though. With
No timing thing, nothing. Anyway, so just us like taking those people across the finish line with our phones. Our finish line was balloons. We've been very cognizant of what we spend every year because we've grown over the years. Last year we had 250 people at our 5K
Congratulations.
event. We raised $21,000 last year. And this year we are at that number, but we also are in 17 states because we went virtual.
Oh, congratulations again. That's amazing.
And right now it's us. We have raffle items, we have vendors there, we have speakers. The doctor at Retina Associates come. We have a doctor that comes out. Someone flies in from MRF. And it's us. It's the two of us. Permits, insurance, raffles, everything is us.
I am so happy that I had you on the record. Honestly, this means even more to me to hear this journey and the perseverance of the two of you.
Yeah.
So we have to ask this question. Do you feel, because it is such a rare cancer, I believe it's 6 in 1 million people.
Yes,
Do you feel that people don't take it seriously enough, including physicians? I hate to ask that question. Listen, and I'm coming from someone again whose brothers are doctors.
Right.
So Do you think they don't sometimes take it
Well,
seriously enough?
what amazes me is how many physicians that have not heard of it.
Right.
I mean, I can go to a dermatologist and they want to know your history and they go, "What's this?" And I go, "It's ocular melanoma." You mean like what I'm looking at? No, in my eyeball, you know. And I mean, it's like that a lot with doctors.
Right.
And it's not their field. You can't blame them, you know.
Right, but it's so interesting. It is so
And,
interesting that
yeah.
even within that medical community,
Right.
a lot of people don't know about it.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
And unfortunately, because we are rare, they call it an orphan disease, an orphan cancer. We don't have the pharmaceutical companies behind us because we don't have a large population of people that are diagnosed with it. So that's where, as a community, and not just us, but throughout our country, the grassroots that we do, the fundraising that we do,
Is
because
more important than ever.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
Yeah, it's more important than ever. So
Yes.
for people who may not understand an orphan, yeah, you know,
Yes.
that concept.
Right.
Can you just explain that a bit further with the
Sure.
pharmaceutical companies?
Because it is 6 out of 1 million, because it's not something that's rare, it's rare, it's not, you know, found all the time, although you hear more of it and we think, should that number change, 6 out of 1 million, but it hasn't. So it's awful to say, but the monies are not
There.
in our disease because
They
we
won't
don't-
make money off
they
of
won't
us. There's
make
not
money
enough
off-
of us.
Right,
I mean, I know that sounds, gosh, I mean, it's
right.
oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
but the pharmaceutical companies really do need to pay attention.
absolutely.
And our community is actually getting better now. Clinicians are coming together. They're starting, there's more conversation now about it. So we are definitely, I feel we're moving in the right direction. Absolutely. We have a ways to go, but I feel like we are moving in a direction because of the people behind CureOM that, you know, are doctors and things that are all coming together and discussing it. So it's getting
better,
which is getting better.
which is positive. That it's
Yes.
getting better. And you know, you think, okay, 6 in 1 million, but what if it is you?
Yes.
What if it is your husband or your child? It doesn't matter,
No,
Right.
right?
Right.
Right. And yeah,
Right?
And
yep.
we need to talk about, too, what we did in Washington, D.C.
Yes, we actually, so every year there's a symposium that they hold, a patient and caregiver symposium, MRF, CureOM. And we went, what year was that, 2016? No, maybe it was 2018 maybe, or 20, I forget now what
Yeah,
year.
it was
but
just a few years.
We
a couple
we
years
actually stayed past the symposium that weekend, and we went onto the Hill and we advocated for ocular melanoma. And we met with state senators in Florida and spoke to them about ocular melanoma. So yeah, so we've stayed, you know, we're very involved. You know, we've both been on steering committees for a Melanoma Research Foundation. For myself, many people who have lost a significant other, a spouse, has stepped away, which is totally understandable. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I have taken the other way. I have a passion to see this through, to see a cure someday.
It's so,
That's
I mean,
where I'm at.
it was so heartfelt when you said some people do step away, because you know, you just never know how to deal with the
No,
pain. I mean, some
right.
people, for you, you know, in Joe's memory, it's embracing the mission.
Yes.
So to Linda and Bernadette, both of you, I know you talked about the fundraiser, but what can we do to help? How can people help your cause?
Well, we have a Facebook page that you can go to. We have a site where you can sign up or donate. You know, we do have sponsors, so we do reach out to people that are sponsored. We have sponsors that do things for us with that. We have information about our sponsorships.
What is the
raffle.
Facebook page? What is the Facebook page and the website? Or
Your Next Step is the Cure.
Your Next Step is the Cure.
Is our Facebook page. We're on Instagram that too, and that's where we post. We use social media a lot. We even did Instagram Lives this past year for the first time. So we actually invited people on to talk about it, or just even like past participants talk about our race. You know, so we stay very, very active with that piece of it too, with the social media piece as well.
Well,
That's how we get ourselves out there.
I'm telling you, our amazing social media director, Danielle Kelly, who's like in the studio, the master control right now, she would tell you too, do as many Facebook Lives or Instagram Lives or Reels. Like today she said to me, Serene, I did a Reel for you because I think that's going to get more attention. But it's like, okay, you know, whatever
say,
works.
right?
Yes, whatever works.
Danielle, actually, we brought a poster and it has our QR code on it.
Wonderful.
And Danielle actually has it.
Yeah. we
Oh,
gave it to
okay.
her.
That's fantastic. I know, isn't it a great team?
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
Yeah,
yes,
our team
absolutely.
here,
Yes.
our team here is so wonderful.
good.
I know. I always say there's no I in team. You know,
That's
and
right.
we certainly
That's
have a great
right.
team.
And that poster that we gave to Danielle, it's on all of the windows of all the local businesses in Lithia.
That we went out and put up.
We put up, so,
Well, you
Yes.
both are amazing, and I think, wouldn't you say, you know, as we're closing out the show, believe it or not, you know, half an hour just flies by, that people, even individual people, right,
Yes.
can make a difference.
That's right.
absolutely, you
That's
can.
right.
Yeah. When we had the idea of starting this 5K ourselves, they looked at us, they said, you know, it's a lot of work. And Linda and I said,
Yeah,
yes,
okay,
and your
whatever.
point is. And here,
What's your point? What's your
Yeah.
point?
and here we are.
And you both
Here
are,
we
you
are.
know, in your blue, and you're wearing jewelry
Yes.
that's symbolic of the
Yeah,
eye.
my eye,
Yeah, you both
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Wow.
So, but yeah, we're very passionate about, and that's why I think coming here today was was just amazing for us.
Absolutely.
Because it's going to, you know, bring us out to the community and share with everyone and letting them understand that, you know, this is something that everyone needs to be aware of, and because it could affect someone's family at some point, and so that they have information about it.
Well, it was truly, honestly, amazing for us.
Oh,
and-
thanks for having
No,
us.
absolutely.
so
Thank you
much.
so much. I mean, it's you know, fulfills a purpose for me and for the team here at CP and RHS TV to help spread awareness
Yes.
and help. So on that note, you know, we always say, please, you know, send us an email. I mean, Bernadette did. Look, and she's here on the set. Look, don't mind. But send your ideas to production@redhousestreaming.com. And then we would really appreciate if you would share our shows on every social media, you know, possible, and they can share your shows as well, or, you know, on your social media. And we're also on Roku with some big announcements coming this fall. But again, Linda, Bernadette, thank you so much for coming on the record.
Thank you so
Serena,
much.
thank you.
Really, this was really awesome. Thank you very, very
Absolutely.
much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week, and stay safe.